What's going on, Bulls Nation? Welcome into the CHGO Bulls Podcast. Summer League coverage presented by Coors Light. Make the most of the times you choose to chill and choose Coors Light. Go to CoorsLight.com/CHGO basketball. Celebrate responsibly. I'm Peck, Bulls_Peck. Big day. Bow. BAWL Sports. Will the Go Gottlieb. Will_Gottlieb. Our hardworking producer, Joey, who was out in Vegas with us, gets the day off. So we have the one and only Sarah Vidger. Sarah, out of control. What's up, Sarah?
We missed you guys.
We missed you.
Missed you too.
We are glad to be home.
Good to be back.
Good to be back.
Good to be back. Back in the place to be.
Also, hopefully everybody who was here in Chicago while we were out in Vegas stayed safe and fairly unscathed. There was a legit tornado that came through like our block here of the West Loop.
Yeah, Sarah said it went overhead, I think, right?
Yeah, it was in the Slack channel. The tornado literally went over our office, hence why if you look around, there's debris everywhere because of our ceiling. But we're okay.
Good.
You're all right.
Yeah.
None of the expensive studio equipment got wrecked. Good news.
It's just a little dusty.
Just dust.
Just a little dusty.
Just a dust up.
I missed home.
Yeah.
I missed my hat bucket.
Yeah.
I'm so glad that it's back in my life.
There you go.
You missed your sweet child.
Oh, it was right there. Will missed the lumbar support.
So true. So true.
Everybody's got their thing, baby.
Good. I'm a little surprised you're not transitioning out of Vegas with your goat perks. You're actually wearing shoes today.
Yeah, I'm wearing shoes today. I'm going to my parents later.
Okay.
And I imagine we're going to go walk their dog for a while, so I just wanted to wear shoes for that.
Okay. All right.
Who said
Nothing
you
too
can't walk
serious.
dogs and Berks?
Just wanted to, have a little extra support, I guess. I don't know.
It's all about
Sure.
support, man. Will is all
Lumbar
about
support,
the support. That's
heel
right.
support.
That's right. Team support.
Shout out
All
to
of it.
everybody who tuned into our
Glasses to support his
coverage
vision.
from out in Las Vegas. We still have more content and coverage that we got while in Vegas that hasn't even dropped yet. So stay tuned. Keep an eye out. CHGO_Bulls, allchgo.com. We've still got more things coming your way, including an exclusive sit-down with Bulls rookie Matas Buzelis.
Exclusive.
Oh, my God. And by the way, he balled out. Again, the Bulls didn't get the win against the Pistons yesterday while we were flying home, but we're going to break down that game today and what we saw from the Bulls rook. But first, just like a few highlights of the trip. I feel like we need to recap our time in Vegas. It felt like 5 days. It felt like a lifetime. It felt like 5 hours all wrapped in one.
That's a great way to put it. That's well done.
I don't know where I am right now.
Just touch the hat bucket, Matt. Then touch that frosty cold.
It's like my spinny thing that Leo uses in Inception.
Yes,
my hat bucket.
Just remind you.
I am here on planet Earth.
Yes.
We're home.
Oh man, I had a great time. It was amazing. I knew year 3 was a good year for me. Year 1, I went all out. In year 2, I went extra all out.
You lost your voice on day 2.
I lost my voice on day 2. So I knew how to handle it better on day 3. And I did well. Gambling went very well. I did leave my headphones, and I did leave my Shady Rays.
Oh no!
Yeah,
you sacrificed to the Las Vegas people.
Yeah, and it's okay because
hopefully someone will make use
lost
of
and
them.
broken replacement plan.
That's why I got excited because I immediately said, "Oh my God, I get to finally use the lost and broken replacements plan and see how that works out because my future will be bright."
It will be, and let me tell you, as someone who
Rays.
has used it twice already, because I'm a reckless individual.
Yes,
it works very efficiently.
So
lost and broken replacement plan.
What do you have to
very
do
excited.
to get the lost and broken replacement plan?
Well, you have to lose them or break them.
Well,
lose
right,
them
but how do you go about?
I emailed whatever their customer service email is with a picture of my glasses. I had one that, one of the earpieces snapped off of the base. So I just sent them a picture of that, and they sent me a new pair.
I don't have a picture to send. I'll just tell them I left them in Vegas. I'm sure that's not the first time I've heard that.
I love that. Shout out to our producer, Emma, who does a great job
Emma.
with the All NBA, All City podcast with
All those
Maris and
producers,
Legler.
Cam,
Great to
all
see her again. Great to see everybody from all of the other networks and beats again
RG.
out in Vegas, as well as getting to meet our PHLY Sixers crew for the first time face to face. That was great.
DG,
Shout out to all of them. But Emma, who was the last producer wrapping up the last show as everyone was sort of like hectically getting ready to leave Vegas yesterday, sent a photo in the Everybody Slack channel saying, like, somebody left behind a pair of headphones. And I immediately responded, my money's on Big Dave.
It's good money to have, baby.
This man leaves sets of earbuds everywhere he goes.
That's right. That's why I have multiple earbuds.
I knew there were yours immediately because they had the little converting dongle thing at the
The
bottom.
little dongle?
Yeah, because I refuse to go wireless, man. This is me on my Matt Peck thing right here. I refuse to go wireless. I want people to know that I have earbuds in. So I'm not just being an ass.
But
when
the
I'm
thing,
walking by
Joey and I were
talking
talking about this yesterday. you are everywhere we walk, you got your headphones on.
Correct.
But you never have it so loud that you can't hear when somebody's talking to you, and it's just impressive.
That's why I like those earbuds, because the way they hang in my ear, that I can still hear the music, but I can still hear everything that's going on.
Transparency
around me.
mode.
Yeah, but now I learned that on the train, bro. Like, no, I can't be zoned out on the train with music. Like, I gotta hear and see everything that's going on, but I still need the music to zone me out. So my hearing game is pretty awesome. You know what I mean? It's just
I can confirm.
My hearing and my listening game is pretty damn awesome.
Other than when we are here on set doing our shows, how many hours of the day would you guess on average you spend without earbuds in?
Oh, okay.
Because you never are listening to music while we're doing shows.
Okay, does it count? Because at home I have wireless headsets on.
Okay, so like headset, earbud, either way.
So
like,
either way.
How many hours are you not listening to music in your ears?
Oh, man. I would say when I'm sleeping, but I've fallen asleep a bunch of times with my headphones on.
Even still.
So I don't know. Oh, God. I'm probably like my man in Something About Mary.
Okay, goodbye, Ted.
God, that's a good question, dog. Probably 6 hours, maybe 6-7 hours in a day.
Do your ears ever hurt from having something in them or over them for that many hours?
No, I'm good. I take them off. It's probably not a daily 6-7 hours. Like, there'll definitely be days where I don't have them in or don't have them.
But like for real, other than when we were doing our shows, you had a pair of earbuds in the entire 5 days in Vegas. Correct. You had earbuds in the whole time.
Absolutely right. And when I'm here, I'm gonna have earbuds in.
Honestly, that might be like a calming thing that I should try, because the noise of Vegas is just so aggressive.
But see, I learned for myself, since my hearing is so good, I hear everything.
Yeah.
So it's annoying to me to hear everything when I'm walking down the street.
Yeah.
And so that music, and I love music.
If you're listening to music that in whatever way kind of calms you down or keeps you in some sort of cheese zone, that might help.
Correct. It keeps me in that mood that I like to be in. And because I still hear so much.
Dude, shout out and mad love to our friends at Circa, wonderful hosts again for the second consecutive year. Hopefully we'll be back there for Summer League next year.
Yeah.
But the noise of the casino floor, the noise at Stadium Swim, the music everywhere. This is just me being an old cranky fart, but like it's just constant. Like, we walked in from a walk down Fremont Street one of the nights. I think it was actually the first night we were here when Joey and I went down the street to get some pizza while you were napping. We took a walk down Fremont Street. We got back into Circa, and there's this little like breezeway where it's kind of quiet because you're in between just craziness of Fremont Street and then the noise of Circa's casino floor music. Joey looked at me and goes, "It's just nonstop noise." I'm like, "Yeah, man. Welcome to Vegas."
And I don't hear
anything they can do to keep you awake and keep you in the casino.
Yes. And again, you don't complain when you're in the casino. Like,
no.
you're zoned out. You don't really hear the music.
Locked in.
You're focused.
Locked in. You're focused.
You're focused.
The music is just part of your vibe.
Which,
a good time.
We had some fun gambling. I think Joey did not have the greatest time on the craps tables. Goat, you did not have a great gambling trip this year.
Or last year.
But you were great for us.
Goat was, again, a wonderful hype man.
Yes.
To the point where this has been a thing now, a few years running.
Oh, it's a thing.
Goat walks away from the table for any period of time, usually just like a few minutes, go to the bathroom, go to the ATM, whatever it is, take a break. And Dave and I hit 23 on the roulette table while Goat's gone.
Yep.
It happened twice.
Yep.
Monday night, our final night there.
Yep.
And Goat, bless his heart, and then Joey had circled back and left the craps table, and we finally convinced him to join us at roulette. Like, dude, try a different game. Got to the point, Goat, where you were like, just like, leaping a few steps away from the roulette table anytime we had like lost a few rounds in a row, and you're like, all right, I'm gonna walk away 10 paces.
Yeah.
Because that's what a team player is.
And then Joey didn't put in on 23, and then 23 hit. We told him, see, Sarah, when we go and we play roulette, 23 is the number we play all the time. You know, Jordan, you got to play 23 every single time, no matter what. We're playing 23
every time, and
it hit 3 times that night.
3 times,
2 times when he walked away. Once when I told Joey, you got to play. You got to respect the board. You got to play 23. He wouldn't do it. Bow.
It's karma.
Big hit
in your face.
I think so. Maybe, and this thought just occurred to me. Maybe the reason why in our 3 years going to Vegas for Summer League now as a group,
Lex,
that Goat has not gotten any of that 23 luck is because you can't have 2 goats in the same place.
Oh,
and we're getting those 23 spins at the roulette table, and they only hit when Goat is gone.
I think I just need a new game.
You want a new game? What game are you thinking?
I don't
Blackjack?
know. Probably blackjack.
Well,
Baccarat, maybe.
Oh, yeah, you did mention Baccarat.
I didn't play it at all.
I would like to watch you play.
I don't understand. I need to like watch a YouTube video on how to play these games. I don't really know what I'm doing.
I just had Matt. I didn't need a YouTube video for roulette. I just made the mistakes. I didn't mind making the mistakes. I don't mind because that's how I learned. And then when I come back strong, I'm coming back strong, baby.
I mean,
Bow.
also like the chaos of the blackjack tables that some of the other ALLCITY people were at Monday night.
Oh man,
Sunday night. Sunday nights tonight we went hard.
Dude.
When like everybody ALLCITY took over Circus Casino.
Dude, the monkey walk, bro.
There was a monkey walk involved.
Yo,
I was like, this is somewhere between blackjack and a full contact sport right now.
Yeah.
And it was very, very well. We had a late dinner after a 7 p.m. game, so I feel like we came in and kind of missed something.
Yeah, it was.
We were there, and then like some DMVR and PHNX people were just literally hooting and hollering like monkeys while playing blackjack.
And walking,
like literally like
them,
monkey dancing up and down the casino.
Dude, it was funny. And then like picking stuff out each other's hairs like monkeys do. Had the dealer doing it, and then when she left, they were like, "Yeah, we're done." And then they walked away like, "Nope, it's not hot anymore." But at the roulette, we were on fire because Matt came down there ready.
The one table I was watching Dev play, and the dealer was like doing some dark magic. It was like 3 out of 4 hands.
Okay.
She had a 4, and then she flipped a 7, and then a 10.
Wow.
3 out of 4 hands. Like, what are the odds of that?
I mean, probably greater than the mathematical anomaly that you discussed in our last show from Stadium Swim yesterday.
We watched
the roulette table show up black 10 times, red 10 times in a row.
Yeah. Red 10 times in a row.
Once it got to 10, I was like, I might just take all my money out of my bank
I was
account.
like, I should have put like $100 on black just now.
And Joey did.
After
the 10th when he did. And he won. It worked out for him.
All right, so just real quick before we dive into the Pistons game and more Buzelis talk, favorite part of the trip?
Whoa. I always talk about the showers at Circus because I'm amazed
those
by them.
Circus showers are so
Those showers are incredible.
I took 3 showers on Monday.
Dude,
There's a correct answer.
Spectacular, man.
There's a correct
and I'm going to
answer.
say it. I'm going to say
Just
it.
making sure.
But
Just making sure.
the interview with Matas Buzelis, myself, and Will the Go Gottlieb was definitely the highlight. We walked in, we met Matas. Oh, Sarah will appreciate all this. We walked in, we met Matas, and then they took us to where they were previewing the new Call of Duty game. And, you know, we had to sign NDAs and stuff like that. So all I'm saying is it was dope. That's what I'm allowed to say. And then they took us in the room where they were showing it, and in that room was Paul George and Steve Aoki. And they were just sitting there having a conversation, and they got up taking pictures with each other and stuff like that. And we're just like, we're in this room.
It was Grant Williams,
it was pretty wild.
Podcast
Grant Williams,
P,
yes.
Steve Aoki, CHGO Bulls.
Yes, in that order. And we was in there chilling, man.
It was wild.
It was wild.
Sarah, do you know who Steve Aoki is?
No.
Thank you.
He's a DJ.
Thank you.
Oh, he's a DJ?
Yeah, a very...
Have you ever seen?
I
You've heard
assumed
of
you
him.
would because apparently he's a DJ that young people know.
Have
You've
you ever
heard-
seen the DJ that throws cake at people from the
Oh,
stage?
that guy.
That
Okay,
guy.
I know that guy. I didn't know his name, though.
And we're back.
That's all Will had to say, though.
And we're back.
They said those names, and like Joey also like sent a pic, in the thread of or a quick video of Paul George. I was like, oh shit, that's Paul George. And then they said that other name, and I was like, blank stare. I was like, who the hell is that? No idea.
That could have been a lot of names, and we would have got that same thing.
Most names.
But the interview was really, really cool. Matas is as advertised. I just love the conversation with him, man, and talking before, during, and after with him was great. Meeting his people also were great, man. And no, it was just really fun. You guys are gonna hear it. I can't wait for y'all to hear it. Honestly, like it was really just a fun thing to do and to talk to him, and it just made me, and I don't know about you, Will, but it just made me even a bigger fan than I already was of him.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. Let's pause there, and then we'll come back, get Will's favorite part, mine, and then we'll dive into Bulls Pistons action from yesterday and what we saw from the Bulls rook, Matas Buzelis. But in the meantime, want to tell you about our friends at Prize Picks.
Prize Picks!
Yo, we got Olympic hoops right around the corner. We
What?
had another exhibition game earlier today.
Okay.
USA put in work, beat Joker's Serbian team by 26.
Steph went in.
USA, so glad that they brought the A-team to these Olympics. Prize Picks is America's #1 daily fantasy sports app with over 5 million active members, and you can make some fun picks on these Olympic basketball games if you want to. Prize Picks is the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Unlike other apps on Prize Picks, it's just you against the numbers. All you do is pick more than or less than on 2 to 6 different player stat projections for the game you're stoked to watch, and watch the winnings roll in. Get in on the daily action with your friends and become part of the Prize Picks community. You can now win up to 100 times your money on Prize Picks with as little as 4 correct picks and turn $10 into $1,000. And if you're looking for specific fun promotions, Prize Picks has you covered every week, from lowering selected players' stat projections on Tuesdays to help your lineup hit, or getting your entry fees back if you have a losing lineup on Fridays. And you know how sometimes Prize Picks does the cool thing that's basically like a free square? They did it with Caitlin Clark's WNBA debut. They've done it for a handful of other things. For Team USA in the Olympics in Paris, they're doing a free LeBron 1-point square.
Okay.
So there's a free square for you
Right
the
there.
next time you're building out a Prize Picks selection. Literally LeBron James
square.
scoring a point in USA's first game.
A square to spare.
Prize Picks. They're literally giving you one correct pick when all you need is 3 more to make some money on Prize Picks. Download the app today. Use promo code CHGO for a first-time deposit match up to $100. That's code CHGO for a first deposit match up to $100. Prize Picks, pick more, pick less. It's that easy.
Ray! CDJR. Shout out. Make Ray Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram your #1 draft pick this summer to find the perfect new car for you this July. Shop a wider selection of vehicles at Ray CDJR and score new lower prices across their huge inventory, making this the summer event. For a limited time, lease a new 2024 Jeep Compass Latitude Luxe for only $189 a month, or shop over 125 vehicles priced under $20,000. Let the amazing team at Ray CDJR help you land the perfect vehicle at the perfect price. Because with Ray's Price Promise, the numbers you're hearing now are the same prices you can expect to shop in-store and online. That's because Ray's Price Promise means no price changing, no add-ons, and no hidden fees ever. Since they prioritize affordability for their customers, hurry into Ray CDJR today and shop one of Chicago's area's largest inventories, then drive home with more money in your hip pocket than you'd expect. So if you're in the market for a new vehicle, then you have to check out the team at Ray, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram, because they are the only team that we recommend. Visit them today on Route 12 in Fox Lake. For more information, visit Ray CDJR in Fox Lake or raycdjr.com. Serving the community since 1960. Ray.
I like how we were just walking everywhere in Vegas, just shouting Ray.
There's the fly. Sarah Bear, I've infected everyone around me with my foolishness of ad reads, and
They're good though.
I'm rather proud.
Yeah,
I'm not even mad.
You should be. It's good stuff right there.
Thank you.
Shout out to Kenny, our guy Scott, Donovan hanging out in the chat, everybody else hanging out in the chat. Welcome back from Vegas, says Donovan. Appreciate it. Hit that like button if you're hanging out with us on YouTube. Helps us out a lot. We appreciate it. Make sure you also subscribe to CHGO Sports YouTube channel. All right, go. Your favorite part of the Vegas trip.
Wait, was that Derrick Rose?
Yeah, it is D Rose.
Nice. Is that one new?
No,
I think I've seen that one
This
before.
I
This
haven't
is
seen that one.
like 2 months old.
Okay, well, I'm
That's
done.
because you be focused.
I'm locked in.
That's it.
Definitely the thing that Dave said, just like that section of the day, we walked into the Wynn Hotel, which is where we had that interview. We ran into Io, said what's up to him. Then we go upstairs, do the interview with Matas, then go into that private screening room, which was awesome.
Yes.
For me, though, probably the highlight was just like having a sit down with Mark and AK and a couple other beat writers, Darnell and KC. We were able to just like kind of pick their brains and get to know them a little bit better, you know, as people, but also in terms of like their basketball philosophy, and just kind of understand their vision for this team.
That's a flex.
What they're trying to do, why they decided to make some changes after all. And then obviously got, maybe like 15 minutes sit down with them on the record, which we were able to report some stuff, and I wrote an article about that. So just really cool to like have that experience, and it was super nice of them. They don't have to do this. This was not something that they were like required to do. So to invite us up there, give us their time, talk with us. It was a very cool experience, and I am very appreciative that they were kind of like investing in that relationship, because I think that goes a long way for the fans too. Like the more we are able to get to know each other and trust each other, we can accurately depict and relay what their plans are to the fans that want to know. And so I just thought that was I really appreciated that.
Okay.
I would like it if we heard from them more often.
Yeah.
And because of that, I do appreciate that gesture of them making themselves, available to chat out in Vegas when they didn't need to. Also, like a little bit FOMO and jealous of you, while also being super happy for you that you got to do that and proud of you, because I wanted to be a fly on the wall in that conversation.
Yes.
And also wanted to see what their hotel suite was like in Vegas.
It was nice.
Because they're the Bulls, and I'm guessing they live pretty well.
It was extremely nice.
But Matt would be one of those flies that is always trying to buzz and bother because he's get off my ear.
He's
Maybe.
the kind of fly that you get one of those like electric fly swatters.
Like a lightsaber fly swatter.
This fly ain't playing around.
Honestly, like one of my favorite parts of the trip was the dinner we all had when we all were just exhausted, having done Bulls Warriors 7 p.m.
Yeah.
And then got back to
Saginaw's,
Circa.
baby.
Good old Saginaw's
Good
open
old
24/7, and we all
Shout out.
sat there and we all had dinner. The four of us, the three of us, and our guy young Joseph, and like that's when Goat filled us in on that meeting he had with the other Bulls beat guys and AK and Eversley. It was just so cool to hear everything that you got to say to them, hear from them in that meeting, and it was just like I don't know. It was like a damn. I can't believe all of this is real kind of moments. Like just shooting the shit with our crew about what we're doing out there in Vegas. You getting to do that kind of sit down with the Bulls brass. Like it was just really cool. I feel it was just like everybody hyping each other up while we're like dead tired. It was day 3 in Vegas. We're dead tired, but we were all just like giddy. Yeah. Getting to hear every detail from Goat about what that was like.
You know,
and I'll say this too, like this, I mean, it was obviously really cool to be there, but I think, and you could say this about a lot of different angles from our trip, like it speaks to the work that we've done and the people who watch along and like want more of this.
True.
Like I don't think any of that stuff is made possible if we don't have a bunch of excited people in the comments after every game, during the off season, every single day. Like none of this matters without you guys. Yeah. So
especially those diehards who got, an even more sneak peek behind the scenes look at what we were doing out there in Vegas. The diehards who were always showing up. Shout out Rob, who I just saw post up in the chat saying great chat or great work over there. Always saw you in the comments while we were out in Vegas. Appreciate it. Yeah, super fun. Also, my other highlight was our hang with Tony, the security lady. On Sunday night.
Yeah.
When we were up in the 200 section.
Yeah, that was cool.
Such a nice lady. Nice. I watched Dave make his 10,000th best friend. She was like, this is supposed to technically be like a media only section of the 200 level. And we were like, well, we are media. We're not credentialed, but we are media. She's like, it's cool. I just, if anybody else comes over here and bugs you, I'll just say you're media.
Yeah.
Nicest lady.
And then she came and sat with us and talked with us.
And then she was like, let's talk hoops.
Yeah.
Clearly knows her stuff.
She knew her stuff, bro. Like one of her sons is a coach at UNLV.
Yeah.
And yeah, like she knows ball, man. Like she seriously knows it. So we just had a great conversation with her.
That's the other thing that's so great about Summer League is like, obviously we've talked about, and if you've ever been there, just like you could run into any executive, any player walking around the hallways, but it's like the people that are there from a fan perspective are the people that care about basketball and love basketball and know basketball better than anybody else. Cause these aren't real NBA games. This is Summer League. So you're going out of your way to come to Vegas to see this. And it's just like, it's cool to be in a setting like that where there's so many people who love the game on that level.
I'm assuming the answer to this question I'm about to ask is AK and Mark Eversley, but you correct me if I'm wrong, but who was the biggest person that you met when you were there, even if it was just in passing for a second, like giving a handshake to and saying what's up? Mine was Rich Paul. That was the biggest one.
What's up to Rich?
When I saw Rich Paul and I said what's up.
Yeah, and then he looked at me, you're like, you're not going to say what up to Rich Paul? And I was like, what the F are you talking about? Where's Rich Paul? And he was like, he literally just went by. Like, well, I missed that entirely.
That was cool. Seeing Rich Paul was cool. Was it?
I don't know. I'm not sure. Like, I mean, I saw a lot of people. I don't know. Rich Paul is up there.
It's up there. It's up there, man.
Draymond was watching the Bulls
Draymond,
Warriors game.
yeah, he was there.
That was a big one. I don't know.
Okay, you?
I mean, nothing as cool as that. I mean, I think the coolest person I talked to on the whole trip was Emma. She's the best.
Emma is freaking cool, yo, for real.
Yeah, I'm trying. I mean, like, yeah, nobody that stands out. Like, I loved watching you have a quick 30-second interview with Mike Miller. That was dope.
Yeah. That was cool too. Meet Mike Miller. That was like, it was funny because that was literally the second time I met him, which is kind of how I got in there.
Yeah.
Because the first time was at the first game that we went to, and we saw him sitting up at the top, and you heard him say a long night, and I got to just talk to him for a quick second in passing, so he kind of knew my face.
Yeah.
So when I went to him, that's why he's like, "Oh, what's up, man?" You know, because he knew my face, and he saw, the hair and the hat. Of course,
right.
It was hard to miss that.
Right.
So when I told him about the interview, he was a tad reluctant, but I was like, "Bro, it's just one question. It's about Billy." He was like, "Okay." And then he saw the camera. He was like, "Wait, this on camera?" I'm like, "Bro, it's quick. I'm telling you, don't leave me down, Mike. Don't leave me down." He's like, "All right, man." All right.
Speaking of which, that's my answer. Meeting Billy Donovan at baggage claim when we arrived on Friday.
Right, we did meet Billy.
Go gets to talk to Billy all the time.
Yeah.
For me, that was, I'm guessing, your first time meeting Billy face to face, or
no, I met him the first year.
Oh, okay.
Summer league when I had the press pass.
Oh, okay.
And
gotcha.
I met him backstage, and he was holding court.
Yeah.
And you could tell why he's a player's coach. When he was sitting back.
I remember
there,
that too.
Yeah. And then I met him there, dog, and spoke to him that way. And he knew everybody, and just all the players loved him. It didn't matter if they were young, it didn't matter if they were old. They loved Billy Donovan. So when we got to that airport and we saw his chauffeur with the Billy Donovan, I remember Joey saying, "Dude, we should interview his chauffeur with Billy Donovan." And I was like, "That's funny." Then I walked around to get my bag, and Billy standing over there talking to a young kid. And then when the young kid left, I was like, "Hey, what's up, coach?" He shook my hand. He talked to me like he know me or something. You know what I mean? "Hey, what's up, man? How you feel?" And I'm like, I'm good, man. It's good to see you and everything." "Oh, yeah, you ready for this? You ready for Vegas?" I'm like, "Oh, yeah, man, I'm ready to get down." "You?" Yeah, I'm ready, excited. I can't wait to get in there. And so then he walked away looking. As soon as he walked away, I came around that corner. "Go!" Yeah. "Yo, Billy's here, dog. Come holler." And I didn't know Billy. And Will was so cool. Will was so cool about it, bro. He was just like, "Hey, what's up, baby? What's going on?" Yeah, it was so smooth. And so we got the introduction, you know what I mean? And everybody got to speak to him, man. But he's just really a personable guy.
Super personable.
Mm-hmm.
I hope he got to go to that concert he was talking to you about.
Yeah.
Okay, so with that, let's now shift and talk about Bulls Summer League Game 3 that happened yesterday afternoon. The Bulls fell to the Detroit Pistons. 85-77 was the final. Let's start with Matas, because Matas is going to be the headline all Summer League long.
My God.
He was one of a few Bulls who played really well in the first quarter yesterday that led to the Bulls having a 31-17 lead after the first 10 minutes. Matas and Sanogo each put up 8 points in that first frame. Matas had a couple of dunks. He had a couple other nice buckets, takes to the rim. Ended up finishing overall 18 points, 7 of 18, just 1 of 6 from downtown. So kind of back to earth after a hot shooting Sunday against the Warriors. Tallied 3 boards, 2 steals, 4 blocks for the young rook. Man, those arms.
Long.
He's making some recovery blocks from behind when he's gotten beat off the dribble a couple of times in these Vegas games. Like to see that. Initial reactions from Matas, maybe something differently than your takeaways from the first 2 games in Game 3 yesterday against Detroit, Dave.
So let me pull back the curtain a little bit. So we missed the game because we were on the flight, and I had my brother DVR it for me. And while we're sitting on the flight waiting to get off, I look up, and Will's sitting a few seats ahead of me. and I look up, and Will's looking at me. And I'm like, "What's up?" He just holds up his phone.
He's got the game on?
And I see Matas' face on the phone, and he's just looking at me like, "Dude." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." And I looked, and I saw it. I was like, "Oh." And I looked at him, was like, I'm like, "Yeah."
That was during the portion of the trip where we were sitting on the tarmac for 40 minutes after we landed.
Right, correct. Just sitting there waiting. So I saw the highlights, but then I went home and I watched the game. My goodness, man. It was amazing to watch, and it was amazing to see. You know what? Before we go into it, I see you, Sarah. All right, I'm gonna say I'll get back into it, but we gotta take this break.
Let's do it. And we're back. Go ahead, Dave.
Magic. And so watching him when I got home and seeing that, it amazed me. I didn't realize most of that stuff took place in that first quarter in like those first, it was like the first block of time
Mm-hmm.
in that first quarter, man. He missed the first shot, and then he hit like his next 4. And he made an impact after impact after impact. They were all like impact buckets.
Yeah.
And you could just hear Sam Mitchell losing his mind. Wow, he was the one calling the game. Shout out Sam Mitchell. And he's the one calling the game. He's losing his mind. And he said, you know what? You take the field of these rookies. I'm going to take Matas. You can have the field. I want this guy. It was amazing watching him play because it's such a wide array of skill that he has to score and put the ball in the bucket. We saw it first with the tip dunk. Then you saw it with him with the crossover, getting to the lane, finishing with the left hand, and hit him with the and one.
Oh yeah, it was and one MF. That poor bastard was Baker, I think. Baker,
yes,
big for the Pistons. Yeah,
that was hilarious, man.
Lot of schooled his ass.
Then you saw him with the alley oop. You know what I mean, getting that one in. Also, you saw him finish him with an in out with the in out crossover, then going up, with the right hand and putting that one in. I think he was 1 of 6 from the 3-point line. If I'm not mistaken. Yeah. So he hit 1-3 on that. But his game, man, like and I didn't realize how fast he was either, because one of those dunks, I think I can't remember the name of the point guard's name.
DJ Stewart.
Thank you.
Yeah.
When Stewart got a steal, Matas was like he was ahead of the pack. And that's how he got that oop. It was amazing to watch. I rewound it like 3 or 4 times because I was just blown away watching that. But he was just supremely skilled, Will. That's the word I kept saying in my head, was he's skilled. And again, the interview after the first quarter, when they were asking him about playing against Ron Holland, he was like, yeah, but we ain't friends right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, we playing a game. We ain't friends right now. Matas. This is why I love this dude, man. He's awesome.
Yeah, I think he was really able to put on display his ball handling in this game. And that's something that, like, we knew was there, and especially for a guy his height, that's a pretty rare skill. But I just feel like even, like the Bulls would run some, like, off-screen actions on the weak side where somebody would come up from the corner off of a, like, double stagger screen and get the ball with the head of steam trying to get downhill. If they couldn't get downhill, then they would swing it to the other side, and that was Matas, and he would have a chance now to break down the defense in a secondary pick and roll action. True. And you just like see him kind of like gliding around the court, reading the screen in the way that defender. I mean, Ron Holland is like, the thing that I liked about him, and I had him top 5 on my draft board, was that he was going to come in and be an elite NBA defensive player right away. Mm-hmm. And Matas was like breaking him down off the dribble. Mm-hmm. And like, that was just really reassuring to see that, like, I think he benefits from having played against Holland and practice and things like that. But just like to be able to break guys down like that, to navigate screens for a guy his size, I think that's a pretty special skill set. And I thought like his ability to handle the ball and get himself downhill, like there are times when he pulls up for floaters, he spins back into that little jerk fade. But I just think when you have that kind of ball handling skill and you're not always required to be the guy that breaks down the defense, he's going to be able to attack closeouts. He's going to be able to get into the paint. He's going to be able to keep plays alive and just like finish for himself. And I think that's something that we've seen with guys like, Io and Kobe, where they've developed that, and that has taken their game to another level. And I think we've seen it on the other end with guys like Patrick and Dalen, who haven't really been able to develop that skill at a super high level yet. And that's kind of holding them back. And once they get that, I think they can really expand their game, and like a lot will come together for them. So for Matas to already be pretty good in that, I think like the shooting has got to get better. He's benefiting right now from contests coming out hard to him where he can get downhill. At the NBA level, I have a feeling teams are going to let him shoot until he proves he can make them at a consistent rate. He's not really able to do that yet, but I like that he's getting up a good volume of shots. That shows he's not afraid, and it shows he's confident in his own shot, and it shows that he's putting in the work. And when you do that, you get better. So he just has to continue to grow in that area. But then once he puts the ball on the floor, I have a feeling he's going to be able to make plays. The next step for me, and this is, we're talking about 3 summer league games. It's not going to all happen at once, but over like the coming years, and we're talking about like a long runway here, he's going to have to develop as a passer, as a finisher, his strength and all that. But like you see the outlines of a player that I think can be really dangerous with the ball in his hands. And that for a guy who's 6'8", 6'9", 6'10", whatever he is in shoes, like that's pretty special. And then you see, his ability to pull up, the floater, his touch, his jump shot, like there's some interesting stuff there for sure. On top of the nasty.
On top of the nasty.
A lot of our fellow Bulls fans in the comments chiming in with their thoughts on Matas after Game 3. Fish saying Matas plays nasty. Bob87 saying Matas is a better rim protector than Vooch already. Vooch always catching strays.
All the strays.
Prove me wrong saying Matas plays like Giannis, runs the floor, Euros into dunks. That was one of his dunks in the first quarter. That nasty, like he was like coast to coast and then Euro stepping. It was great. Blocks shots, tip dunks, dunking on fast breaks, and drives to the bucket. Bob87 saying it might take Matas a couple of seasons to fix that jumper. Most of the misses are not even close. He has had some bad misses on that 3-ball in these summer league games, but he also had a game where he went 4 of 8. Let's see. Robert, can we talk about Nathan Knight posting up twice when Matas was trying to get the ball and cook?
That was the other thing. Like, the spacing on the floor was not good.
Yeah.
Nathan Knight in particular kept on trying to post up when Matas had a mismatch.
Yes.
And he was like, get out of the lane.
Yeah.
And, like, let him have space, but he would still get downhill anyway.
Yeah.
And oftentimes even draw a foul. So
and again,
that speaks to his ball handling.
And again, that's another thing Sam Mitchell was yelling about.
Yeah.
He was like, big fella, get out the lane.
Yeah.
Let him go to work. Let him go to work. Like,
Yeah.
It was evident.
Like when Matas got that switch on the right baseline against that Baker guy, he ended up,
that's the play.
embarrassing. Mitchell was saying that thing. He was like, oh, he's got the switch. Get out of there.
Right,
and then Matas fucking cooked. Like a little hesitation, crossover, drove right to left through the paint, got the lefty layup. Shout out to our boy Strick in the comments saying, imagine Matas with an NBA point guard. And so, speaking of point guards, and Will, you were just talking about other areas of Matas' game that still need development, and you mentioned finishing and you mentioned passing. That I'm just going to pose this hypothetical potential nitpick of what I've seen from Matas through 3 games. I know other Bulls fans have been curious about it as well.
Let's do it.
As of right now, through 3 games, he's got 61 points total. He is, correct me if I'm wrong, Will, on pace to be the highest points per game scorer in Bulls Summer League history.
I think he fell behind Patrick, but he's right there.
He's right there. 61 points through 3 games, only 2 assists through 3 games, and he's had 2 games with 0 assists. Does that concern you at all? Because it's not like he has been asked to be the primary ball handler and offensive initiator, offensive engine in kind of a weird way that we saw Dalen Terry do at times his 2 seasons in Summer League. Even though he was not projected to be an NBA point guard, he played that role a lot for the Summer League team. We're not seeing Matas do a lot of that, but we are seeing him demand the ball, but there are nowhere near the number of assists compared to the buckets he's getting. Is that nothing? Is that something?
I think it's something for sure. I don't think he necessarily has to be like an elite playmaker facilitator in order to be good at the NBA level. But like there is a certain point that you can get to if you're not a good passer, right? Mm-hmm. Like Jason Tatum, I think this year and last year developed as a passer to where he was able to get to a level where he could be the best player in a championship team. He's not going to be Luka. He's not going to be Trae Young as a passer, but that's okay. But I think right now, like, again, this is going to be a multi-year process. Yes. I know people don't he has a lot of skills, and so it doesn't look like he's like completely raw, like Tijan Salon, for example, right, who's like the most raw prospect anybody has ever seen. He's like good enough and skilled enough to like do some stuff now, but I don't think he is necessarily like close to what he will look like at full form. And I don't expect him to be, or he didn't profile at least to be the kind of guy that's going to be like heliocentric, put the ball in his hands, put 4 shooters around him and let him cook. I don't think that, like, unless you're Luka, like, or LeBron or something, I don't think teams should play that way. I think you have a ceiling of how good you can be unless you are an apex, like, Michael Jordan, Luka Doncic kind of player where you can be the best player on a championship team with the ball in your hands every single possession. I don't think the Bulls, I don't think he is at that level, and I don't think it's something that you should expect from the Bulls. So I think it's fine if he's not a great passer right away. I think he can, at a certain point, develop, because all you need to do is just like make this simple read. He doesn't necessarily need to be like passing guys open, but okay, you close out, help comes, hit the open man. That's
right.
It.
And one of the videos you clipped when you were doing your replay of it this morning on Twitter, it wasn't an assist, but he did have a great like hit ahead outlet pass on a Bulls transition opportunity.
Yeah, and you heard him on like he was mic'd up for part of it, and it was like, I want to play faster. Let's get the ball up the court. And it's like you can, and I think that's the style of play that the Bulls want to use next year. Obviously, we haven't had a chance to talk with Billy about like what he sees as like the differences in the Bulls offense, but like clearly getting the ball up ahead the court and beating the defense down there is a priority for them. That's why they traded for Josh Giddey. That's why, it seems like Matas can get out and run. And like, I think that is going to be a big part of who the Bulls become next year. But for sure, I mean, Matas doesn't have to be an elite passer, elite playmaker in order to be a good player. But I do think at a certain point, like if you can unlock that, now you have a higher ceiling.
Yeah.
But right now, I just think I like what we see from him as kind of like a secondary option in terms of like breaking down the defense after DJ Stewart has had a chance to get into the paint and kick it out to him.
Right.
So there's he's 19. There's going to be a long process here.
Shout out,
but
okay.
You do like what you see. The other concern, and like maybe the more pressing concern for me with Matas, because it was not a perfect game.
No.
He started hot. He was 4 of 5 and then finished 7 of 18. So
kind of like the opposite of game 2.
3 of 13 the rest of the way. I like that he is drawing fouls and getting to the basket, but 1 of 6 from 3, that's going to be shaky. As I wrote the other day, like I think there's going to be times where he cannot buy a bucket, and then I think there's going to be times where he gets hot, and that kind of like brings his percentage up.
Sure.
But I don't necessarily think he's going to be like a consistent 35% shooter. I think it's going to be peaks and valleys with that, and just taking a lot of tough shots. Like you see him try to force it at times. I don't think he's going to need to do that quite as much at the NBA level because there's going to be other good scorers around him. But I think those are the kind of things that when you're a young team and you're not necessarily trying to win right away, you can afford to let him go through those growing pains and take the tough shots and learn kind of the hard way through experience of what shots you need to take in order to eventually become like a winning player.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying he can't do that. I think he will. I'm just saying like the Bulls are in a situation now where they can give him that time to grow that space to grow. Yeah. And that's something that they haven't necessarily given a guy like Patrick Williams in the sense that he's dominating the basketball. He's had to be more of a role player.
I think, man, that I think a lot of his stuff is going to be like hockey assist. Because as you guys mentioned, getting the ball up the floor in transition because, that motor that he has, he's going to get down the floor and feel the pain or, spread out to the 3-point line before his defender gets there because he is super fast. Yeah. So he's going to get a lot of hockey assists in that sense. And also when they're in the half court and he's got the ball in his hands because I watched him make the right read a bunch of times when he's out there. He makes the right pass. So unless it's going to be like a guy like Sanogo who's living down there that he can just hit with that pass and he can get the layup, or somebody out in the corner for a 3 that he could hit with that pass and he could take that shot, I think those are the ways he gets the assists. But I think his stuff is more so going to be like the extra pass. You know what I'm saying? Making the ball flow and because the ball has energy. And so letting that energy flow through his team, getting it to whoever needs to get that right shot.
Eco being in the comments saying, first thing I usually notice with a player is if they use their weak hand. Matas passes that test. Yeah, I mean, again, like he's shown a lot of ball handling ability with both hands.
And driving left.
And driving left. That really bucket he had in the first quarter yesterday, that was driving left, and it was very impressive.
That transition pass up the floor to Drell was with his left.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, he's awesome.
Adrian in the comments saying, when I watch the skill set of Matas and the potential skill set of Cooper Flagg, I'm hoping and dreaming they both play on the same team. It's a really early start if you're starting right now to get your hopes up for a Matas Cooper Flagg teammate duo. I'm not disagreeing with you. That would be very cool.
Yeah.
I'm gonna wait until I start getting my hopes up on that. Bulls still have to protect that top 10 protected pick. Where was it? Sanchi Landscape Design in the comments saying, I hope you guys see this. We do. Do you guys think Matas' energy and the fact that he might be better than P-Will light a fire under P-Will? Will he want to go hard to prove he can start for the Bulls? You were just mentioning Patrick a second ago, Will. We heard from Patrick at Summer League. You talked to him during a portion of their first game, gave an injury update saying he's expecting to be ready for training camp. I mean, will it light a fire under Pat if Matas looks good in Summer League and then in training camp? I don't know. I can't say that confidently because I have never seen any kind of fire be lit under Pat for any reason whatsoever. Even with the young guys like off-season training camp, summer camp, DeMar camp stuff.
Yeah.
Where's the fire from Pat? Never seen it.
Yeah.
So wishful thinking, I think. But I mean, like, Pat also just signed a 5-year deal. It was not a maximum contract, but it's 5 years and $90 million.
Yeah.
That is a player who should, comfortable, yes, but also like a lot of people questioning whether or not he's worth that money.
Correct.
So if you lose your job to a rookie, or the fear of losing your job to a rookie should light a fire under Pat.
Yeah,
I'm not confident that it will.
Yeah, because I touched on it a little bit on the last show, but I'm excited to just watch Matas or hear about stories from Will of Matas in practice going against guys like P. Will, because Matas is competitive and he's not there to just be nice. You know what I'm saying? I want to win. You know what I mean? So if you're a competitor and you want to win, that means you're competing at everything. And that's going to be practice. There's going to be competition. There's going to be shit talking. There's going to be buckets getting out there. And if it's going to be on Patrick Williams, he's going to have to understand that, bro. Like, that young guy ain't coming in, you know what I'm saying, to be nice. Like, he might be coming to take your job, regardless of that or not, or his feelings or not. Yeah. That might be the case, as you mentioned. That might be the case. Hey, Pat, sit this one. I'm going to start the young fella on that. Might be the case, man. So I'm interested to see how Pat responds. I don't know if it means he's going to come out raw. I don't think that'll be the case. You know what I mean? He's never shown that he's that kind of player. But I do want to see if it lights a fire just under his game, because his game is matching his personality. And I don't want that. Matas's game doesn't really match his personality off the floor. He's an awesome guy. He's a nice guy off the floor. He's real cool. On the floor, he don't like you at all. So Patrick has to be that. His game can't match his personality anymore, man. Like, that's what the fire has to be, and that thing has to come up.
Yeah, I don't really know if like lighting a fire is the term I would use with Patrick. Mm-hmm. Like, because I agree with you. He's just like, he and Matas have like opposite personalities.
Sure.
But I don't think that necessarily means that like Patrick isn't capable of like being aggressive. I think the frustration with him is we know he can do it. We've seen it before, but he just doesn't do it consistently. Mm-hmm. And I know I sound like Billy Donovan because that's exactly what Billy would say, but it's true. Like we haven't seen Pat put it together for long enough stretches. And I think he floated a lot over the last couple of years. I think the injuries probably set him back a little bit. I think his like mentality of not stepping on toes because he knows that he's playing alongside three all-star caliber players has made it difficult for him to like take the reins of the offense. And so maybe that's what people mean by lighting a fire. But like, to me, it's more just like, can you put him in a situation where he has an opportunity to grow with the basketball in his hands? Because I think we've seen him be a good spot up shooter, a good attack closeout, one dribble to the elbow kind of situation. But I want to see what he can do with the basketball a little bit more creatively. Mm-hmm. I think he is not a good dribbler, and that also holds him back.
True.
So I want to see him continue to improve there. But and Pat didn't like say this explicitly, but just listening and seeing the way that he was reacting to some of the questions that we were asking, like he knows that there's opportunity for him now with DeMar gone. And he also knows that the Bulls are invested in him. And I think he had a little bit, he's always been a confident guy. Every time I've talked to him, he believes in himself and his skills, but you could just tell like there's a little bit of like, okay, it's my time now. Like this is my opportunity to like really become the player that I envision myself to be. And as we know, that's like an all-star caliber player. So I'm not saying he's going to be there. I'm not saying that like, you know, I just think he's got more runway now. And I think that's a good thing. I also think he and Matas can and should play together because I think they complement each other.
Somebody in the comments was just asking about, hey,
Matas
and Pat at the 3 and the 4. Yeah. You know, what do you make of that? Like a lot of Bulls fans have been crying out for years now. Pat's not a power forward. Play him at the wing. Do the Bulls have the right pieces to make that happen? Billy has never really seemed all that interested in an idea like that, and also the Bulls necessarily haven't had pieces.
It's been the roster.
It's not so about Billy's preference of it's got to be small ball. It's like, well, look at the Bulls roster. Now you're talking about maybe playing Pat and Matas at either forward position on the court together.
Exactly, and like the one thing that I think you can safely say that the front office has done this summer is like get bigger, and that was something that Artur said to us the other day. It's like when Patrick went down, you could feel how small the lineup was. And now you bring in Josh Giddey, who's 6'8". You bring in Jalen Smith, who's 6'10". Matas is 6'9". Like you added a lot of height with this group. And I think that and height, versatility, length, athleticism, that allows you to play different styles and systems. So I'm interested to see what Billy is able to cook up with this. But like for me, I want to see Kobe out there with Matas, Patrick, Io, and Giddey. I want to see like a small lineup that like is still really big and has the ability to play fast, because that's where you can really disrupt teams. And I think with that kind of spacing and athleticism, it can make up for some of the shooting woes that I think this team will still have. And I think you're going to be in situations where they still put a center on Giddey and that tries to neutralize him. But if the Bulls are playing really fast and Giddey's able to get downhill, then that neutralizes that sort of, gimmick that teams can throw at the Bulls. So obviously, like, the Thunder did that too, and they had a stretch five who could also protect the rim. Like, that's great. But Giddey, Pat, Buzelis, they're all 6'8", 6'9". I think those guys can play 3, 4, 5 next to each other. And I want to see that with Kobe and Io out there, because I think that has the formula of a fast team that can run, that can space the floor, and can switch everything defensively. Like, that's really interesting to me.
And also, I think Buzelis' mental makeup allows them to cheat with him at the 5 when they're running that small ball lineup. Because again, that dude is a goon like that. So he likes the physicality. And I think you'll see it better, obviously, in year 2 and year 3 when he gets bigger, puts more size on him. But it's just the fact that he has the attitude already to be down there and wanting to mix it up with guys like that. But yeah, man, like, it's so intriguing now, and it hasn't been. You know what I'm saying, for a while. Like you said, he now has proper ingredients and actual things. No more square pegs and round holes. Like, things actually fit. You know what I mean? And yeah, this is how you build a car. Like, this is how you get your car built, man. Is getting the right thing.
And the other thing with that group in particular that I mentioned, with like Giddey, Pat, and Matas out there at the same time, like, this was another thing AK said, was the rebounding. Like, Patrick is not a great rebounder. I think.
Shout out to Emilio in the comments who just made that same comment.
Yeah, he's I think a little bit better than his numbers suggest, just because I think Vooch got a lot of the, like, gimme rebounds that, and Kobe was a very good rebounder. Like, the team gang rebounded. I think that can kind of suppress the numbers a little bit. At the same time, Patrick needs to be better. But Giddey is like a 6, 7, 8 rebound guy. I think Matas can be a 6, 7, 8 rebound guy. Patrick should be like that. I think part of the problem with going smaller last year was that they didn't have the forwards to be able to, like, push up the lineup so that you could put Pat and Torrey Craig out there at the same time. Now you've got that. And now I think you're able to see, like, okay, is that something that you can do? And I just, like, this year I think has to be about experimenting, stretching the young guys, figuring out what's possible and what's not with this group so that you can make decisions moving forward. The last couple of years, they just haven't had any flexibility to make decisions, and they haven't had the young players to really explore their growth. And I think now you clear up a lot of space on the cap. Obviously, you've still got to move Zach. You still got to move Vooch. You still got to, move on from Lonzo at a certain point here. But I think with just the flexibility, the height, the athleticism, the versatility that you have, it just opens up a lot more doors for Billy Donovan to get creative.
Agreed. Y'all are hilarious in the comments today, though, by the way. Y'all been cracking me up. Straight up. Go ahead.
We always appreciate it. And hit that like button if you haven't already. Please and thank you. Speaking of those comments, speaking of the Bulls front court, Brandon E. saying, we need to sign Sanogo to the roster to open up the other two-way, literally providing what we're lacking. Well, look, as you pointed out several times, Will, the Bulls roster is at 15. Unless they waive Batim, who is not guaranteed right now,
at all,
and they can do that if they want to open up a roster spot, I don't see Sanogo making his way to the actual 15 as opposed to being on a two-way.
He's the only player under contract as a two-way right now, as far as I know.
Right. Okay. So, but, maybe it just means that you want Sanogo to be on the main 15 roster and not a two-way and using that up. But also, like, the Bulls have not been using their two-ways very effectively. Put a pin in that because I'm going to circle back to Andrew Funk in a second. But because you brought up Sanogo, let's touch on that. Sadly, no double-double yesterday. No double-double for Mr. Double-Double. Not even 10 fouls, unfortunately. But again, as I mentioned at the start, he was very efficient in the first quarter, just like Matas. That's what led the Bulls to that big double-digit lead after one. Will, I saw that you cut one clip of his in particular this morning of a really solid pick and roll he had with DJ Stewart, and said that you want to see more of a rim rolling version of Sanogo if he wants to actually carve himself an NBA role as opposed to just getting the ball on the low block and posting up.
Correct.
Yeah, we've seen him really bully for position on the offensive glass where he gets a lot of, like, putbacks, and we've also seen him, like, get post position, and he has a nice little, baby hook, and that's great, but that's not something that you expect or even want him to be doing at the NBA level. That's going to slow down the offense. That's going to just make it kind of all a slog. It's going to collapse the spacing, and he's not a good enough passer to where he can really take advantage of that. So it's nice to know that he can do it, but, like, that's not what I would want his role to be. What I would want his role to be is a guy who sets really good screens up high, rolls hard and can finish. And we saw that a little bit. His touch is really soft, but I just like to see he's not like a lob catcher. He's not going to be above the rim, very much a below the rim player, but he's got good enough touch where if he just dives hard, he'll catch the pass and he'll put it up. And I think he can be way more effective out there and just make life difficult, I think, for opposing guards trying to get over. I mean, he's a huge guy. Huge. So like getting over those screens is not going to be fun. And if he can roll hard to where the defensive big has to either contain and guard no one or make a decision about who he's going to cut off, the ball handler or go back to Sanogo, like that's where I think he's going to make his money. And that's where I think he could get promoted to the NBA roster. But right now, I think his role is basically like offensive rebound, defensive rebound, and like post up. And I just don't think the post up element is really an NBA skill at this point.
I'm with you on the post up thing, but Flex Diggs, shout out to our guy, just point out in the comments what my thought was when hearing you and watching you break that down with that clip. And yeah, it was a great rim rolling play that worked out in a summer league game. Sanogo has 0 hops, says Flex Diggs. To me, if you're talking about effective, high efficiency scoring, rim rolling big in the NBA, they need to play above the rim. Sanogo does not. That's what I see.
Yeah, I think that's ideal, and that's kind of the blueprint of what we mostly see. But Sanogo's like big enough and can move guys off of him easily enough to where I think he can be effective there, but he's just got to roll really, really hard and get down there before the defense can kind of reset. And I'm not saying it's going to be like easy or that's like a guarantee he's going to be able to do that at a high level. But in that specific clip, you saw that happen. And I think he can be effective there because he's got good passing now too. I mean, Giddey, I think, could be a guy that really helps him, and he could help Giddey get into the paint a little bit more easily too with his screening. So I agree though, like the Bulls don't really have a big lob catcher. I think Jalen Smith can kind of do that, but I mean, he's not like a Derek Lively kind of like acrobat in the air where he's like catching tough passes and still dunking it. The Bulls don't have that guy, but I think Sanogo could be productive there. I don't expect him to play a lot at the NBA level, but I think that's a role that he could be successful in.
Yeah, if he had those hops, he would have been drafted.
Yeah.
If that was the case. But honestly, I never looked at it as an issue as long as the ball is going into the hoop.
Yeah.
And so when he sets those screens and he rolls, I watched him do it in the G League this whole time in the G League. He would set those screens and roll. That's all he did. Set screens, roll. They would give him the ball. He would lay it in. It was really that simple for him. Or he would get it and you would see his footwork. You know what I'm saying? Just how patient he is. He's very patient.
Yeah.
That's not talked about enough too. He's very patient down there in the paint. And he can score with either hand, which is also a talent that you should have as a big fella also, man. But I don't think I'm as concerned about that kind of athleticism from him because I've seen him just score doing what he does. You know, it hasn't been an issue for me yet. Yes, if he could, I would love for him to be above the rim, catching those alley-oops from Giddey. That would be cool to watch, all of that. But if he catches it and lays it in, that's still 2 points. Yeah. And that's all I need him to do is get it and score. So even if he catches it and misses, get your rebound, which he will swallow up, put it back in. So he has those kind of skills to kind of make up for the lack of athleticism.
All right. For me, just one last thing. It's like, for me, you hear the term like vertical spacing, and I think that's kind of what you're talking about. Like you want a guy who can put pressure on the rim in that way.
Sure.
But to me, a lot of that is just like how fast you can get to the rim. It doesn't necessarily matter if you're above or below it. If you can finish, you can finish. It's just about beating your defender to that spot.
Yeah.
And now if there's a big who's in drop coverage, they have to decide who to guard. And if he can beat you there before the defense can, reset and get back in front of guys, like you will have the advantage. And I think that's the bigger point.
Just about out of time. Just wanted to say this for the record. I know we touched on it a couple of times. Brandon mentioning earlier that, where the Bulls are using these two ways coming up this season. Andrew Funk yesterday, 0 points, a minus 18 in 11 minutes on the floor. That's right. Minus 18 in 11 minutes, 0 points. People saying, well, why is Funk around? Bulls fans saying, well, the Bulls are looking for shooters. He can shoot, right? He can shoot. That's why he's around.
Got a weird
Through
shot.
3 games in Summer League this year, 34 minutes on the floor total, 5 points on 1 of 9. I swear to God, if Andrew Funk has a Bulls 2-way contract this coming season, then I get a Bulls NBA 2-way contract this season. What the hell is he still doing here? This is not personal. This is not a personal attack. This is basketball observation. Basketball skills observation, not personal. What the hell is Andrew Funk still doing here? What is he doing here? Scout better, Bulls. Get rid of that guy. Bring in someone else who's young. Use the two-way contracts effectively. Why am I still watching Andrew Funk? Why? Tell me why.
Funk has got a weird shot. Why is he
For the why? You're done. Yesterday, it was it for me. Andrew Funk, goodbye. Goodbye.
I'm seeing kind of like conflicting information about this. On Spot Track, they have him listed as one of the two-ways because he signed a 2-year two-way contract. I'm not sure if the Bulls can get off of that. I can do some investigating on that. But Sanogo is the one guy that the Bulls announced as a two-way this year. Funk, obviously, and Drell.
They did make a press release for Sanogo. They did not for any other two-way people.
So, and I'm not sure what the team's ability is to move off of a two-way contract. Those contracts don't apply to the cap. So I think they can move on from him. They should sign DJ Stewart, man. He's been great.
DJ's been great. Yeah, I mean, slinging dimes all throughout summer league games. Brandon E saying, I want to see more Drell. I think there's something there. Incorrect. But thanks for joining us. Drell can go too.
I put him on the G League roster, honestly.
Sure, fine. Keep shining in the G League if you want to. Never come anywhere near my team. God, I'm done. I'm done with those two.
One more hat.
One more hat, man.
I miss my hat bucket so much.
All right.
I've hit the mounted small TV over there twice now. It's good to be home. Thanks to everybody for tuning in today. Hit the like button on your way out. Thanks everybody for catching our Summer League content out in Vegas. We still have more of that Summer League content dropping for y'all as we move through the back end of this week, including an exclusive with Matas Buzelis. Tomorrow, we are doing our top 10 Bulls games in Bulls history to go along with our CHGO top 25 Chicago team games in history that have been rolling out over the last few days. We're starting to see more Bulls games on the list because I think we did 15 to 11 today.
Yeah.
25 to 15, there weren't that many because the Bulls ones, they're all going to be closer to the front of the list. But so each beat is doing a team-specific top 10. We're going to be doing that on tomorrow's show. Be sure to tune in. It'll be a lot of fun reminiscing about great games from Bulls past. In the meantime, read GOAT stuff, allchgo.com, Will_Golly, Big Day Bow, BAWL Sports. I'm Bulls_Peck. Shout out and thanks to our one and only marvelous Sarah Fisher on the controls. We'll have Joey back with us tomorrow. Enjoy the rest of your night. We'll talk soon. See you, Red. Be good.
Peace and love, y'all.
We all silly like the mayor.